Hello, how's everybody doing? It's Phil Thatch and a glass of juice in a Guinness glass. Hope everybody's doing well. I don't think I've been live on this channel since July. Just haven't had the opportunity to. And tonight I came home from work with a new something that I had shipped to work because it's a signature package and nobody was here to sign for it. And I came home from work with the signature package, and Heather's in the other room and she's knee deep in PhD work. So I said, you know what, I was going to open this thing up anyway. Hello, Ray. Hello there, Mr. Ray. I was going to open this thing up tonight anyway. I'm not going to do any photography with it, but I was going to open it up. So, oh, that is delicious. Oh, I bet my swallow was really loud with the microphone right by my neck. Sorry about that. Anyway, the subject of tonight's video is this monstrosity. It's the brand new RF 200. Oh my Z6 is struggling. There we go. The 200 to 800 f6.3 to f9 IS, which is image stabilized, and USM, which is ultrasonic motors, which USM is usually what you would find in the more expensive L lenses, but this is not an L lens. So anyway, really excited about this thing. There was rumors about it. I've had 2 or 3 videos about this lens already, and there were rumors about it, and I didn't think it was real, and then it looked like it was real, and sure enough, they announced it, and I managed to get a hold of Kim Stone, who works at Murphy's Camera in Kentucky, and she got my name on the list at the very top, and she texted me today and said, or actually she texted me, excuse me, yesterday and said, it's here. Hello, Raul. Thanks for joining. She said, it's here, and do you still want it? And I said, absolutely, I want it. And I haven't seen anybody else on YouTube with one of these who actually bought it, who actually got a production copy of it. I've seen lots of people with pre-production samples, but I don't think I've seen anyone else on YouTube who has actually bought one of these and has it in their hands. So if I'm the first, good for me. If I'm not the first, then somebody beat me to it. But anyway, it's all thanks to Murphy Camera that I got it when I did. Looks like we got, what is this? Hey, it tells you how to use Canon interchangeable lenses. I think I've got that figured out, and there's a warranty card. I'm gonna throw it over there with the receipt that they sent me. So if you guys want to do some camera business, I highly recommend Murphy Camera in Kentucky. And I can't remember if there's 2 locations, and the one that I usually do business with is the one in Louisville. And that's also where Kim Stone works, so give her a call. Let's see. Oh, it looks like we have a box within a box. A giant box with inside it a large box. So this box here, which is much more reasonably sized, is supported inside this humongous box by 2 of these thingies. There's one in the top and another one just like it in the bottom. So the box is a lot bigger than it actually needs to be, but I do like it from a protection point of view. And I didn't think I would need a knife. Let me see if I have a knife here on my desk. Well, I may have to open this thing without a knife. Do it the old-fashioned way. All right. I don't know if you can see or not. Here's a piece of cardboard. I did an unboxing one time of a small rig plate that goes on the bottom of a Nikon ZFC. I did it live just like this, and it was crushed. So fortunately, My new Canon 200 to 800 does not appear to be crushed, so that's really good. Let's see here. Try to do this gently. It'd be really great if I dropped my brand new lens right here on this live stream. Okay, here is the hood, and it is huge, but it's not real thick, and it doesn't appear. Let me see here. Let's get the lens out. Because one of the things I don't like about the lens hood for my 100 to 500, which this is not the stock lens hood, is how huge it is. But I think this one is huge, but not bigger than the lens. Oh, there is LEWCEHJITI. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for joining. There's Photo Gear Fun, who has a YouTube channel. Thanks for joining. Hey, Phil, I ordered mine from B&H. Still waiting for it. Yep, that's one of the good things about Murphy Camera. Of course, I should quit telling you about Murphy Camera, because if I tell everybody about Murphy Camera, it might be harder for me to get first place on the waiting list there. Feels light, really, considering what it is. Ooh, that is a long throw. That is a long throw. Let's compare that throw to the 100 to 500, which has also a long throw. It's pretty similar. It's definitely longer, and I've mentioned this in another video, even without having the lens in my hand. It's definitely longer than the throw on the Sony 200 to 600 that's back behind me, and the Nikon 180 to 600 that it's around here somewhere. There it is. Definitely longer than those two, but those are internal zooms, and this is an external zoom. Standard looking lens cap. Wow. It's it's funny. It's a 95 millimeter front element, and it's the same size element on the 200 to 600, the 180 to 600, the Nikon 200 to 500, the Canon 800 f11. They all have a 95 millimeter front filter thread. There's the zoom, and I love that it has, and I meant to mention this in another video that I made, but I forgot before I had finished it. It has the loose and tight adjustment. So if you turn it all the way in one direction, if you turn it all the way to loose, which I don't think it's actually called loose, it's called smooth and tight. If you turn it all the way to smooth, it goes real easy. And if you turn it the other way, all the way to tight, it's more difficult to move. It's not hard, but it's more difficult, but you don't have to worry about lens creep at all. And if you definitely want to be at 800, you can just put it on 800 and put that all the way to tight, and you're going to stay at 800. It looks great. You know, if they painted this silver ring, if they painted that red and stuck an L on it, I don't think I'd be able to tell the difference. It doesn't feel cheap, although it does feel relatively light. The foot on it, the lens foot, feels every bit as good as that one, although it is not. The one on the 100 to 500 is removable, which I love that. I have it attached right now, but it's removable, and this one I don't think it is, although there's conflicting reports. I saw one video that said that it was, but if it is, I don't know how to do it. It's smooth though when you loosen it, and because I'll put it on that gimbal head and I'll be able to turn if I want to, and man, that is nice and smooth. No clicks, which I'm okay with no clicks. I've heard some people unhappy with no clicks. There are little indents. I don't know if I can get that to show. There's little marks on the tripod collar and the lens itself that you can line up before you tighten it up and make sure you're straight, which I will attempt to do. Got it. Let's see. I don't see it. It does come with a lens hood, and it has tabs for bigger lenses. Sometimes you put a strap on the lens, So you can hold it around your neck because you don't, a lens of this size, you don't want to use the camera strap on your camera body to hang that around your neck, because there will be pressure at the lens mount that's not good for the camera body or the lens. And it has places to hook up a strap, but I didn't see a strap in there. Oh, forgive me. There is a strap in there. So it does come with the strap if you want to use it. Now, when I had a 500 f4, I put that on, but that lens weighed more than twice what this lens weighs. So I probably won't put this on there, because I won't carry it by the camera strap on the camera. I'll either carry it by the foot, or I'll have it on the gimbal, or I'll do handheld, but I definitely won't put a camera strap on and hold the whole thing by that. Let's see what it looks like with the lens hood on. Oh, the lens hood is a push button lock, like a premium lens would have, even though I got to get my head out of this shot so the camera will focus on this. I guess you can see that push button there. Premium lenses typically have that, and I wouldn't consider this to be a premium lens. It doesn't have an L on it, but it does have the push button, which I love that. I'm a big fan of that. Okay, looks like the chat is going crazy, and I've just been running my mouth, so let me catch up on that. Let's see. Bill Sebastian says, "Hey Phil, looks awesome, thank you." Orlando Santos Jr. says, "How does it feel in the hand compared to the Sony 200 to 600? Let's see. Come here, little guy. Of course, it's hard to compare with. Pretty similar. You know, it's obviously going to be different when you start zooming, and this thing goes. I think both of the internal zoom lenses that I have, the 200 to 600 and the 180 to 600, are going to feel better, just because. Let me put this down here so I don't drop it off the side of the desk. Just because when you zoom this thing out, you know, it grows just huge. I don't know how much that is, but it's a lot. So that, I mean, but if it wasn't an external zooming lens, it'd be huge in terms of fitting it in your camera bag. So I like that it's an external zoom, and I can appreciate that, but I can also appreciate the niceness of an internal zoom lens. But anyway, so there's the answer to that question of how does it feel. Let's see, what is next? Can't wait to see the image quality. Me too. And as I mentioned, I don't know if any of you guys saw the, excuse me, I'm parched. I'm gonna have some more of my Guinness juice. I don't know if any of you guys saw my my quick little short clip that I made from my office at work. My next day off is Thursday, and I always go out and take pictures on Thursday. And obviously, I'll be using this. And usually, I'll make a video on Thursday. I'll go out Thursday morning and shoot from sunrise until about noon, and then I'll come home and put the video together until 5, and then I'll hang out with Heather. And I'll upload the video, and it'll come out in about a month. Well, that's not the way I'm going to do it Thursday. I'm going to make this video, and I'm going to put it out as soon as I get done uploading it. I'll upload it and watch it to make sure nothing's screwed up, and I'll upload it. So look for a video, hopefully sometime between 4 and 6:30 p.m. Eastern this coming Thursday, day after tomorrow, with it. So let's see. Can't wait to see the image quality. And hello, B22. Miguel. Hello, Miguel. Hello, Phil. Beautiful lens. I need one of those in my life. They're, for the price, I don't see how you could not get one, unless you just really are put off by f9, which I could see how that would be a bother, because f9 is not exactly fast. But like I say, I used, and I don't feel like going over there and getting it, but right over there is the 800 f11, and I used it exclusively as my birding lens for a year until I got my R7, and then I started using the 100 to 500, because I need 750 or 800 millimeters. You know what I mean? That's how many full frame equivalent. So I needed 800 on full frame, and then when I got the R6, it's 1.6 crop times the 500 on the 100 to 500 gave me 800. that's what I really need for songbird photography, which is what I mainly do. But I'll probably do sandhill cranes with this on Thursday. It'll probably be sandhill cranes. Isotic Images, hello, thanks for joining. Love everything about it, but just concerned about what a few reviews said about the image quality at 800 millimeters. And that concerns me as well, but like I say, it's almost got to be better than the 800 f11. And I found the 800 f11, while not as great as the 100 to 500 is at 500 millimeters, it was acceptable. It was acceptable to use, and I feel like it's got to be better than that. Probably not as good as the 100 to 500 is at 500 millimeters, but I bet it's, you know, if you're looking at it under a microscope, you might be able to find some areas that are not as perfect as a super exotic, expensive lens, but I bet it's going to be, I bet the compromise is going to be worth it. B22, about time Canon included a lens hood with a non-L lens. That's a really good point, because the 800 f11 did not come with a lens hood, and the little 100 to 400, the 5.6 to f8 lens, super bargain lens, it did not come with a lens hood. Now I bought a third-party lens hood to go on my 800 f11, but I didn't buy one for the 100 to 400. And I'm glad to have one on this. And like I was concerned about earlier, or mentioning earlier, when you turn it backwards, it doesn't fit as snugly as, this is not the lens hood that comes with the 100 to 500. I made a video all about it. This is the lens hood that comes with the 50 millimeter f1.2, but look how snugly it fits when it's mounted backwards on the 100 to 500. And I use this same lens hood on the 70 to 200 2.8. It just makes it easier to fit in the bag. So this lens hood, let me scoot that back. It's not as snug as that, but it's pretty snug. So it's going to make that hugeness not quite so bad to put in the camera bag. Matter of fact, let's compare the lens hood size, because the most difficult lens I have to store right now is the 200 to 600. And its lens hood is definitely bigger around. It has a larger diameter by, I'm just eyeballing it here, but it's somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 inch, maybe 3/8 of an inch bigger. So that takes up a lot more room in your camera bag. That's the Sony on this side and the Canon on this side. I don't know if you can tell that it's bigger, but it is. All right, back to the floor with you, Mr. Sony Lens. So let's see, what is next? Ed Smiley, mine ships tomorrow. Where'd you get yours from, Ed? I wonder if you got yours. Oh, well, you'll probably tell me in a minute. And also Ed Smiley says, I don't understand why they make the lens hood black. Just make it match the camera if you're going to include it. But I agree, nice that they included one. Yeah, you know, the EF lenses, they usually had a black hood on a white lens a lot of times. Like the, what is it, the 100 to 400 lens? I'm pretty sure it comes with a black hood. And I'm okay either way, honestly. But I see your point. I could see where a white one would be better. I use this black hood not because it's black. I switched to this black hood, but I switched because of the size. The color was not part of the motivation for switching. Let's see, Amal Krishnan, hello, welcome. What is giving a great picture quality, 100 to 500 to 800? Well, I don't know yet, because I just took this out of the box and haven't used it. And I'm going to say probably, without even going into the field, probably the 100 to 500 is better. Picture quality wise, image quality wise, just based on the fact that it cost $1,000 more. So there's got to be some reason it costs $1,000 more. But it's 300 millimeters less. So this thing has its good points for sure. David Barr says, I would be calling off of work tomorrow. That's The thought has crossed my mind, David. It really has. Let's see what Carl says. Carl Downing, and also welcome David Barr and welcome Carl Downing. Would you take both the 100 to 500 and the 200 to 800 out on the same photo shoot, or one or the other? And how would you decide which one to take? Well, if I was shooting with a full frame camera, like the R6 Mark II here, and my subject was small birds, I would definitely take the 200 to 800 for that. And if I was shooting small birds within a reasonable distance, 20 or 30 feet or less, I would probably use the 100 to 500 on the R6. But if I was shooting things that were way away, like so far away that you can't get close to filling the frame, with the 100 to 500 on the R6, then I might put this on the R7, excuse me. Then I might put this on the R7 and have, I don't have the number in my little tiny brain, but I think it's 1,280 millimeters full frame equivalent is what you get when you put 800 millimeters on the 1.6 crop body. So I guess the answer to your question is, if I can get really close to the subject, or if the subject's really big, I'd use the 100 to 500. If I can't get close to the subject, or if the subject's really small, I would use the 200 to 800. Okay, Ed Smiley, he has an R5 and an R7. My daughter shoots with the R7 and the 100 to 500. I've been using the 800 and I plan on selling it after I get this. Okay, I thought I was going to sell mine too, but then I decided, because Heather, excuse me, Heather, my fiance, who's doing PhD work in the other room, she shoots with the 100 to 500, and she has an R7. And what if we went to a place where even on the R7, you needed 800 millimeters? So I said, I'm just going to keep it. Its trade-in value is probably not that much, and it has more value to me to say, hey, we need 800 millimeters. Here's one for you. So Heather can use it, and I'm sure I'll use it sometimes. And it's really nice for Heather because it is super light. This lens is pretty light, and I don't have all the weights memorized, but this lens is pretty light, and this lens is even lighter. The 100 to 500 is even lighter, but the 800 f11 is lighter than either one of those. So it'll be great for her because she is a 5 foot 2 inch young lady. So let's see here. It also says Milford Photo in Connecticut's where you got yours. Okay, cool. I think I've seen the Northrop's shop there, and even they sponsored a couple of their videos. Guinness juice that won't come into focus. Come on, Nikon Z6. I'm using the Z6 to live stream tonight, and usually I use the R6 Mark II, but I thought I might need it as a prop, so I didn't use it. Oh, I see a comment that I can't wait to get to at the very bottom of the screen, but I'm going to wait till I get to it. Apparently I was first on their wait list, so we had that in common, and they got their first one this week. Orlando Santos Jr., I ordered the RF 200-800 and the 200-600 from Sony. I probably won't keep both, but I can't wait to have them both in the hand. That'll be interesting to see which one you pick. I'm definitely keeping both, and my YouTube channel is a photography channel, and I do all sorts of different genres of photography, but my main subject matter is birds and wildlife. And it's usually birds and wildlife with inexpensive gear. Like you won't see me with a 600 f4. I'm not spending $12,000 on a lens. But you might see me with everybody's 200 to whatever. You'll see me with the Nikon one. You'll see me with the Canon one. You'll see me with the Sony one. So that's kind of what I've decided. It's definitely my wheelhouse in terms of what I like to shoot and the gear I like to shoot with. And so I decided that, you know what, it won't cost that much. It's actually cheaper to get all three of these 200 to whatever, or 180 to 600. Though all three of those is cheaper than buying a 600 f4. And so I can shoot with all three brands. Because most people, most photographers, wildlife photographers, don't go out and buy those $12,000 lenses. And I had the 500 f4 for a long time, and man, that thing's heavy and a pain in the ass to carry. These things, while they are not as fast, and you need to use a slower shutter speed sometimes or have higher ISO, they're so much easier to carry and easier to work with. And everybody who has a 600 f4 usually also has the cheap lens too, because there's some situations where the cheap lens just works better. Like anytime you need to be at less than 600 so you can zoom. All right, let's see here. Oh, I finally made it to the comment. Frank Garcia, thanks for joining. I disagree. I think it's beautiful. Frank commented, that thing is ugly, and put a emoticon on there. I think it's pretty. I think it's a good looking lens. I really do. Now, I agree it's ugly when it's like this. But when it's at 200 millimeters, I think it's pretty. So opinions vary. Let's see, Brooke Miller. Hello, Brooke. Thanks for joining. Can't wait to see the photos at 800 and 1.5. Yeah, well, it'll be, if I use a crop, it'd be 800 and 1.6. So that'll be crazy. And I think on my first video, I'm going to use it on a full frame camera. And then, but you know what? I might take the R7 with me. And if there's a situation where I really need more than 800 millimeters, then I'll put it on the R7. But I think, like I say, I think my first time out, I'm going to use it on the R6 Mark II. Which, of all my cameras, the Nikons that I have, not all Nikons, because I don't know how a Z8 or a Z9 compares. But of all the cameras that I own, my R6 Mark II has the best autofocus system. It's better than my R7. It's better than my Sony a6700. So I'm excited about having 800 millimeters that's not f11 to go on that camera. Let's see. Oh, there's Heather has popped in. Let's see. I'm gotten ahead of myself. Yeah, my wife would probably kill me if I keep both. I understood. Just got the Sony a67 because I was curious to shoot with it. Yeah, it's pretty cool, and I really do like it, and I like the 200 to 600 as well. But I'll tell you this: I think I like the R7 better than the a6700 a little bit, and I think I like the Nikon 180 to 600 better than the Sony 200 to 600 a little bit. But I like the a6700 and the Sony 200 to 600 enough to keep it, and I really enjoy shooting with it from time to time. But my favorite thing to shoot with the Sony is landscape photography and just general walk around street photography, because it's so small and it has such great support from third party. I love that little Sigma 18 to 50 f2.8. It's tiny. It looks like a can of V8 juice, or maybe even smaller. It's awesome. But anyway, we're talking about wildlife lenses now, so I'll quit going off the page. Oh, lots of comments I'm about to get behind. Let me catch up. Hello, Heather, popping in to say a quick hello. She's in there working on her PhD stuff, but she's also got a computer, so she can pop in. Rodrigo Photography says, thanks for sharing, Phil. Do you have the 1.4 extender? I do have the 1.4 extender, and I'm sure at some point I'll pop that thing on here for sure. Also, thumbs up, peeps. Oh yeah, thank you. Heather reminded everybody to hit the thumbs up button. That would be much appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you if you decided to do that. Let's see, Jay says, word is it's really sharp up to 600, but at 800 it's not that great. Well, I will know on Thursday, and I'll let you know, because I'll definitely be, I mean, I'm not going to be pointing it at test charts, but I'll make some 600 millimeter and some 800 excuse me, and some 800 millimeter shots. And hello, Jay. And Corey, hello, Corey, says R6 Mark II is $900 off on B&H right now. Wow. Okay, everybody log off of the live stream and go to B&H right now and get an R6 Mark II for $900 off. That is awesome. Shoot, I should go get another one. I love that camera. Let's see. Brooke Miller says, can you take the lens foot off? Yes or no? Well, I've heard two different versions of that, about whether or not it's removable. And in my experience, just briefly here, loosening this, it's as loose as it'll go, and it ain't coming off. I believe it is permanently attached, which I'd really probably rather have it removable, just because this lens is light enough to where I would shoot it handheld, and I'd rather have the weight of this not there. But best I can tell, it's not removable. But it does have this little thingy. Let me see if I can get this back up here so I can see if I'm getting this in focus. It's got this little thing, and I don't know what that does. But even if there was a screw in there, I can't see how that would possibly remove the tripod foot. So I don't know what that's for, but I don't think the tripod foot's removable, is the short answer, Brooke. B22, are you going to compare it to the RF 100 to 400? Maybe. I think the 100 to 400 might be a good companion lens for it. I like the 100 to 400. I use it for landscape photography. Like sometimes when you're doing landscape photography, you need to hike a long way. And I carry the R6 Mark II, and I carry the 14 to 35 f4 and the 24 to 105 f4, which both of those lenses are nice and small. And then I carry that tiny 100 to 400, which is tiny and weighs almost nothing. And I can put all of that in my smallest bag and still have room for filters and my little camera that I vlog with, all that stuff. This is not a lens I would carry with me on a landscape photography run. So I think they are similar in that for what they are, they're priced inexpensively, but to me, they have very different use cases. But I might compare them at some point. Photogear Fun, I plan to test mine on the R5, R7, and R8. Can't wait to see what it can do. Yeah, I didn't know you had an R5, but I guess you do. I knew you just got an R8 on like a Black Friday deal. That's cool. David Barr, glad to hear your first outing will be with the R6 Mark II, seeing how that's what I'm shooting. Looking forward to watching you Thursday from North Central Ohio. Okay, thanks, David. Yeah, I think it's this focal range, 800 millimeters, it's definitely, I mean, you can use it on APS-C, but it'll be overkill in most situations. To me, this is where I'm crazy about bird photography with APS-C because I need that extra reach. Well, this lens gives me the extra reach without going to an APS-C body. That's why I think it's probably more of a full frame lens. Although I'm sure there will be some situations, just like with the 800 f11, where I like to put that lens on APS-C. But the cool thing about this is its minimum focus distance is, while still fairly long, it's way better than the 800 f11, and of course it zooms. So, because if you put the 800 f11 on the R6, you are stuck at 1280 millimeters or whatever the math comes out as. But with this, you can zoom it back to 200 times 1.6 is 320, I think. So much better. 320 to 1280. What a range. Damn, maybe I will use the R7 on Thursday. No, I've already decided I'm using the R6 Mark II. Let's see. Eric says, I have the RF 100 to 500, can't bring myself to get the 200 to 800. Well, it just depends on what you're shooting with. I think if you're on an R7, you probably don't need it. If you're on an R5, which is the real high megapixel full frame camera, you probably don't need it, but you might. But me, I have my full frame camera is the inexpensive one, the R6 Mark II, the lower res one. I think I need it. Let's see here. Amal says, could you please make a comparison video of the 100-500 lens and the 800 millimeter lens with the R7? I'm sure I will at some point. Ed Smiley, every time I go to pull the trigger on an extender, I see all the videos pop up about extenders being worse thing people bought. Well, Ed, I'd stay away from a 2X teleconverter or extender, but 1.4s are really pretty nice. they're pretty nice. But with this, you might not even need one. Carl wants to know what is Heather's PhD topic, and it's instructional design. Basically, electronic learning is the best way to talk about that. It's instructional design. She is a student at the University of Missouri. Great to be on this live show. How do you see the balance of the lens when mounted on a camera? You know what? I don't know, because I've never mounted it on a camera, but I'm about to. And that is a long throw. But the times when I'll go all the way back to 200 are few and far between. I'll probably be, let's see, I'll probably be 800 to, that's a comfortable zoom, and that goes all the way down to 450 with a comfortable throw. I can't imagine needing to move more than that quickly. Feels good. I think it feels pretty doggone good. So there's what it looks like on the R6 Mark II. Let's see. You were talking about the balance front to rear. Not bad. I think it's pretty good. Of course, the R6 Mark II is not the heaviest. It's not the heaviest full frame body, but it's not the lightest either. And I always keep an L bracket on my cameras, just because I hate to find myself. Let's see. Orlando says, if I like the 200 to 800, I may get the R7 again for whatever reason. I have never really loved the R7. Well, I think it's fantastic, first of all, but it does have, I don't know if you saw my autofocus test between the R6 Mark II, the R7, and the A6700, where I shot a full burst at a clay cardinal, and the A6700 and the R6 Mark II didn't miss a single shot, but the R7 missed a few. So it's not perfect, but it's still my favorite APS-C camera for wildlife. Even though the A6700 didn't miss any in that test, I still like the autofocus better, I think, in the R7. It seems to snap to the subject faster. Okay. He said Orlando said he also doesn't like the body layout. I kind of like it. This weird little unique to the R7 dial. I kind of like it. But I could see how it's very unusual. So I could see how, let's see. Orlando says 100 to 400 is fantastic lens. What a bargain that lenses has been. Yeah, it's great. It really is something. It's my favorite butterfly lens because it's 400 millimeters, but it has a really close minimum focus distance for 400 millimeters. You can really fill the frame with a butterfly without getting so close to it like you would with a macro lens that the butterfly flies off. So it's, like I say, it's my favorite butterfly lens. The 100 to 400 is. I don't know if you mentioned it. Dave White says, hello, Dave, but where did you pre-order from that you got it that fast? Well, I didn't pre-order. I shop at this camera store in Louisville, Kentucky called Murphy's Camera. And I have bought so much stuff there that I actually have my own salesperson that I deal with. And I texted her before the thing was announced. And I said, hey, Kim, they're about to announce this lens. Can you start a list and put me on it? And she did. And so, voila. That's how I got it. And she texted me yesterday, and they're so close. They're in Kentucky and I'm in Tennessee, which are bordering states. And as long as you get the order in to where they can get it on the UPS truck by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you'll get it the next day if you live in Tennessee. So that's how I got it so fast. Now, how they got it so fast, I don't know. But I'm really happy that they did. Let's see. Life and Balance from Thailand. I will decide to buy it or not. I think you should. Heather Boyd says Carl Daniels. Oh, thank you, Heather. Learning technologies. I said instructional design. My specialty is artificial intelligence. Phil has broken the internet. I don't know what it looked like. It looked like the stream was struggling for a second. Ray, is that what you're saying, or I'm not sure. Ray says Z9 or go home. Ray is a Z9 shooter, and a damn good one. David Barr, hey Phil, not like you have a tape measure handy, but wondering the length completely extended. Thanks, my friend. No hurry. Well, I do have a tape measure handy. I'll have to hop up for just a second, but let me go get it. Oh, I'm on a wireless mic, so you can hear me while I'm in here in the laundry room getting a tape measure. And now I'm coming back with the tape measure. Okay, so the length of the lens, including the hood, when it's fully extended, is just a little bit more than 19 inches. Now let me take the lens hood off in case you're curious about that. Where's the button? I know it's got a button, but it's really small. That is one thing. I love a lens hood with a button, but the button is so small on this one, it's a little tricky to find. All right. Length of lens without lens hood is 15, about 15, just a little bit more than 15 3/4 inches, less than 16 inches. And then collapsed, it is 12.5 inches. So it extends 3 1/4 inches. If I did that math right, which I'm likely to not have done that math right. All right, tape measure to put up later. All right. Photo Gear Fun says, thanks for the stream, Phil. Can't wait to see your videos on this beast. I can't wait to make them. It's going to be fun. Wawa Zaharo says something that I can't read. I'll have to translate that later. Let's see, Orlando says, man, we got Phil getting a tape measure and everything. I love it. The man is here to serve the people. Thanks. My pleasure. Yeah, it wasn't that far. Fortunately, I know exactly where the tape measure is. There was a time when I had a tape measure and it would have taken me 30 minutes of digging to find it, but I know where it is now. Pog juice. Pog juice. Heather makes it for me. It's awesome. Okay, David Barr says, wow, thanks so much. You're very welcome. Hey, Wolf Tick, what's going on? Just jumping on. I can't see all that. Out of jiu-jitsu class. Wow, how about that? Nice to see you doing live. My pleasure. Nope, the juice is not spiked with anything. I gave up alcohol in March of 22. I guess it was 22. Yeah, March of 22. So no beer, just juice. Holy cow, am I caught up? Did I miss some? And I still am wondering what Ray meant when he said Phil broke his internet. I thought he said Phil broke the internet. Yeah, I did see some hourglass for a minute there that had me a little worried. But anyway, so now that I'm caught up on comments, I'll probably shut her down. That is, that's the lens. That's what it looks like. It's a long throw, but like I say, if you start at 800, because that's probably where you're going to want to be on a full frame camera, and something gets a little closer, you can easily zip it all the way to 350. No problem. And, you know, you're not going to, if you're shooting closer than 300, you're probably not using this lens anyway. It wouldn't bother me if this was a 300 to 800. It wouldn't bother me at all. But I can see, I mean, but you look at the difference from 300 to 200 is a lot of throw. From 300 to 800 is a little bit more than that, but it's not a huge amount more. 400 to 800 is tiny. It's a lot more than, it's about the same as 300 to 200, but it's a lot more than 400 to 200. It's a lot of numbers. Oh, good for you, your wallet and your liver. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely. The alcohol, I mean, I never was much of a liquor drinker, but I drank a lot of beer. You guys may remember in the old days when I did live streams, I'd probably funnel down about 4 beers during the live stream. Hello, Brian. It does look pretty sweet. Thank you. Thanks. Pretty excited about it. Let's see if I can put this up here where I can see. Looks pretty good, especially at 200 millimeters. At 800, not quite as good, but still good enough. Just 2 switches, autofocus, manual focus, and stabilizer on and off. I don't like, and this is the first time I've really thought about this, a lot of times I use a focus limiter if I'm doing photography. Matter of fact, I was at the Hiawassee Wildlife Refuge just the other day, which is probably where I'll take this Thursday, photographing sandhill cranes with the Sony, and I turned on the focus limiter, and this does not have a focus limiter. So if it misses and it has to search all the way to the close side, it'll take it longer. Ray says your sound is cracking. I think you're having network or computer issues. It's possible. It is definitely possible. Plus, sometimes this microphone bounces around. But anyway, I think I'm going to call it. Thanks everybody for joining. It's been fun and all that good stuff. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And the next video, I'll have a video out tomorrow morning. Today is Tuesday. Yeah, I've got it's a basketball video tomorrow morning that I made a month ago. But then Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, I'll have something with this, unless something goes horribly wrong. Hello, Jay Henry, late to the party. You got yours on pre-order. I hope you get it soon. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye.